Hello, my name is Anne and welcome to a Tobyknits Podcast, episode 138. Grab a cuppa and get comfy. All my regulars know what's going to go on, but if you're new to my channel, then welcome. Today we're going to be talking about the knitting. Yes, it's all about the knitting today. I'm sitting outside in my backyard. There are chipmunks chirping at me. The air conditioner is on because it's quite hot here in Canada. And but it's beautiful out. We did have a bit of smoke this morning from the Quebec forest fires, but I think they've cleared up a little bit. It doesn't look as hazy as it was anyway. But anyway, get comfy. We're going to be here for a little bit. I have a few things to show you. A finished object. Oh, what do you think of this? This is my Scrappy V and I love it. I have, you can see by the little thingies here, this is where I washed it and blocked it, and those were where I had cut some little pins. I think they'll come out eventually, but as I wear it, but I absolutely love it. It is really pretty. It comes down to just over my hip. The colors are gorgeous. I just love it. It really is a nice, comfortable, cozy sweater for the summertime. It is knit with Ellie Jones of Craft House Magic, her fingering weight yarn. I used to get last year all her minis for the year. Each month I got 5 new minis in different colors, and they did coordinate each color. Like I think this was all a set of colors here, and I think these were all a set of colors. So you can see the way they did flow into each other, which is nice. And so I did 8 to 9 rows each block of color before I changed for the next. And I do still have a little bit of each color left over from each of the 20 gram minis, but it's a great way to use your stash up. You could certainly do this in one whole color, which I might actually do next time because I really did enjoy it. It would be interesting to know. I should have weighed each of them first so I could see how much. Well, I knew they were 20 gram balls, so that doesn't make sense. I should have weighed what was left and then deducted it from all my colors so I could see actually if it was probably 200 or 300 grams altogether, maybe. But anyway, I really like it. It's very nice. We did the V-neck first. It's a top down. And then you did all the short rows to get this sort of situation where when you get back to cut for the sleeves, or just before you cut for the sleeves, you're then it's all in one go, if you know what I mean. So anyway, I really enjoyed it. It was by Jamie Hoffman, I think is the lady who designed it, from Knitosophy, I think it is. So anyway, really enjoyed making it. It's a fabulous t-shirt and I love it. So Scrappy V. Then I finished my baby blanket, which I crocheted for my son Sean, who lives in Nova Scotia. His friend Matt and girlfriend had a baby, and this is the blanket that I made. I can't actually tell which is the wrong side and which is the right side. I don't think it really matters. No, it doesn't really matter. So I just used leftover yarn that I had from the flax sweater I had made Tristan. So I think this is the Brene handicraft. No, not the handicraft. That's cotton. Brene. I don't even know. I forget now. But it's very soft. And then I just used a white that I had in my stash, and I just did a giant granny square. I kept going round and round. I think it's about 40 inches maybe altogether, 40 by 40 maybe, And then I put a picot binding on the edge. I finished the last rows with my granny clusters, and then I did the half double crochets, and then I did the picot binding. So this is the baby blanket for the crib, not the crib, the stroller, wrong country, Anne, stroller. And so that is for them, which I shall be taking with me when I go to Nova Scotia. Ooh. Then I've worked on 2 other things this week, mostly, and they are in my Watson bag is the June sock that we've all been working on. Well, in my group, Tobyknits and Friends on Facebook. Some of us have all been working on this sock, and this is this one is called the Feather Vane, and this is a beautiful sock. It's by Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade, and she's doing a thing right now with each month from May until October. We are getting a new sock pattern each month. It's a surprise. We don't know what the sock pattern's going to be. This was the June sock pattern, and I decided to use my June hand-dyed yarn, which is called Roses. And so this is this pattern. It's really very pretty. It's a lace pattern. I'm trying to remember if it's 6 pattern repeat. And I like her patterns because she does her patterns row by row written out. So you can literally print off her pattern and then tick off each row as you've done it. I put mine, of course, on my iPad, on my knitting app, and it's just super easy to see where you're at. She also gives you a in her patterns, when you reach a certain part, she'll tell you if you're 50% through the sock or 75% through and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool. So this is it. This is the back, just a plain back, which is nice because it shows up the beautiful yarn. Yes, there are teeny bits of green in there for the leaves. And I'm on the, I think I've just finished the gusset. So this was the gusset part here, and I'm now back to having 64 stitches. So now it's just keep going until you're ready to break for the toe, once I've got my number of stitches in, rows in. So it's really nice. So tell me how you do your socks. When I get to the part where it's the gusset and you've done your toe, not your toe, your heel, and then you pick up your 16 stitches down the side, then I normally put a marker and then I knit halfway across the front and then change my needle, kind of thing, so that then the other half and the rest of the gusset stitches and half of the heel are on the other needles. So that's how I break and do my socks. And then I'll have 2 markers each side for the SSK and the knit 2 together when you're doing the decrease for the gusset, and one right in the middle of the heel where the beginning of the round is. And that's how I've always done them. Helen doesn't do them like that. Helen puts all the stitches on the back needle for the 2 gusset increases and the heel, and on the front is just her however many stitches it was, 32 stitches on the front needle for the pattern. And I wasn't sure I was going to like that because I don't know, it just felt clunky having that many stitches on one needle at the back. But I persevered with it and I went through it, and I actually found I kind of liked it because you didn't have as many stitch markers. You don't actually even need a stitch marker. Actually, that's not true. You need 1 stitch marker. And I'll show you where that 1 stitch marker goes with my next project, because that away. In my Carson bag, I have got the shadow box socks. Now I've already made one of those, and these were just an extra pair of socks I made last month. I actually think I tried to do 3 pairs of socks in 1 month in May, and that was pretty hard. So this is still lingering from the May. And so this is one sock, and this was the first sock in that Handmade Sock Society I was telling you about. And this is, it goes all the way around the back and the front here of the leg. And then of course the bottom is just regular, and here we go down. And then the toe is just regular. And this was some yarn I had in stash. I can't even remember where it came from. But it looks a bit loopy because of the way the ribbing is holding it. But it looks lovely on. So here is the whole sock. Anyway, I'm on the second sock now. And so here you can see I have done the leg. Here's the back, and I have done the heel flap and the heel turn. And I'm now on the gusset. And I think I'm only about row 4 or 5 of the gusset. So there is where my stitch marker is. That now marks the beginning of the round. Because like I said, when Helen does it, she's got her picked up stitches here, her toe heel here, and the rest of her picked up stitches there. And then on the front, she's got her pattern stitches. So there's kind of a lot, but again, it's easy to follow because you know that when you get to the end, at the beginning of the round, which is here, you come down and you then knit 2 together in this side, do your pattern, come back to this side, SSK this side, come up to the beginning of the round. So it's actually a little easier once you get used to having this many stitches on that back needle. And the more you're going around and the quicker that you're doing the decreases, the less stitches you've got. So it's only the first bunch of rows I find that are hard to manage all those stitches on the back. I have to scrunch them up as I'm knitting. But once you get a good way into it, it's easier because then you don't have as many stitches, and then you just wind back up with your 32 and 32 in the front, and away you go. So it's interesting. So yeah, I'm kind of enjoying that at the moment. So I'm trying desperately to get these finished, and tomorrow I'm going to Nova Scotia for 2 weeks. And so I'm going to be knitting this particular one in the car and hope to get it finished by the time we get there. It's a 14-hour drive to Nova Scotia where we're going. We're going to just a little past Dartmouth, which is across from Halifax. So it takes us about 14 hours. We will stop overnight, probably in Edmundston. So this will literally be my car knitting because I don't drive. And I'm hoping to get that finished by the time I get there. At which point the needles are going to come in handy because on July 1st, Helen will be issuing her next new mystery pattern. And I've already got the yarn ready for that. And of course it's my July of yarn of the month, which I hand dyed. And this one's called Larkspur, and it's blue again, but it's a beautiful color blue. It's blue and purple. So here it is, all caked up and ready to go. I just am loving this. And I feel like the darker colors might be in the middle. So as I'm going down to the second sock, there may be a slight variation, but that's the whole fun of hand-dyed yarn. You don't know what you're gonna get when you're knitting it, right? So it's super pretty. And I'll put a picture here of what the skeins look like, so you can see the difference in them. And this particular yarn I'm trying for the first time. I've dyed a couple up on my 80% merino, 20% nylon, my Elite Classic yarn, but this is called Earth Friendly yarn, and this is 80% organic wool and 20% recycled nylon. So I thought this was super, and it's so soft. When I looked at it before it was dyed, I thought, oh, I don't even know. And it's got a lovely twist. I don't even know if you can see that. It's got a really nice twist to it. But it's definite. I don't know. It didn't look very soft when I first took it out the plastic bag and put it in my bowl of water to soak it for an hour. It didn't look all that good. But then once it's dried and dyed and dried, it really does look soft and squishy. So I'm anxious to see how this will knit up. So this is the Earth Friendly sock yarn. Yeah, so talking about the shop, I have put the shop on vacation for 2 weeks. It's actually on vacation now, just because with being away, even though I have some yarn dyed and ready to go out, I can't mail it to you when I'm, the other side of the country. And Etsy get all miffed at me if I don't mail out when I say I'm going to mail out. So I decided to put the shop on hold for 2 weeks. The only unfortunate thing about that, I find, is you can't then go into my shop and browse. You just have to wait till I come back and open it. So if you're looking for any July yarn, the Larkspur yarn, you have to wait till I'm back. Sorry. And but yeah, that's how it goes. Anyway, I don't have any more to tell you. This is a quick video today, not very long at all, but it's better than nothing, right? And I shall I don't know if next Monday I will do another video. I certainly won't be doing any quilty funs on Fridays because I don't have my sewing machine with me. Really, Ed? So I won't be doing any quilting, of course, for the next 2 weeks or so. But I will still be knitting and cross stitching. So I might still do, depends on what we're doing on that day. I might try and do a live from Sean's basement. That might be fun. But anyway, we'll see. I don't know yet. I'm playing it by ear, girls. I'm playing it by ear. Anyway, I'm going to go finish this and sit in my backyard. There was a bunny before. I'll put the picture. He was just over here on the little outside because all this is my backyard, right the way up to the back of those trees there. I have a little fenced in area for Toby. Because if he was to go all the way back up there, there's like 60 acres of nothing behind me. So if he disappeared after a squirrel, I don't even know if we'd ever find him. So I have to fence in this little piece of yard here for him to go and bark at the squirrels and the rabbits. So I'll put a picture of I'll finish up here now with this little rabbit, and you can see how cute he was, and his little white bunny tail. Anyway, have a fabulous week, everybody. I hope I'll see you next Monday, but if not, knit away. Bye.